Welcome to the Blake Goodman PC Attorneys Podcast. We provide a knowledgeable guide on bankruptcy law in the state of Hawaii so you can stay informed and get the fresh financial start you need. With over 80 years of combined experience in bankruptcy law, at Blake Goodman PC, we're ready to listen and help you get back on your feet. This podcast series is reviewed and approved by founding attorney Blake Goodman.
Join us in this episode as we break down how the IRS's collection statute expiration date could influence the outcome of your bankruptcy case in Hawaii. The collection statute expiration date, or CSED, is the time frame the IRS has to collect on the debt. When you file for bankruptcy, the CSED can be stopped, giving you more time to get rid of the debt. The timing of your bankruptcy filing is key to understanding how it affects the IRS's ability to collect and whether the debt can be discharged. Let's start with the basics. What is the collection statute expiration date? The collection statute expiration date is an important date that, once reached, disallows the IRS from collecting your tax debt. In other words, your tax debt will expire after this date, and you will be free from it. The statute of limitations on this debt is 10 years from the date of assessment. The date of assessment will be one of 2 days: April 15th, tax day, if you filed by this date, or the date you filed your taxes, if you filed later than April 15th. Now let's examine how filing for bankruptcy affects the IRS collection statute expiration date. Bankruptcy pauses the statute of limitations for the duration of the case, as the IRS is subject to the automatic stay and is legally prohibited from collecting. Additionally, once your bankruptcy is complete, the IRS will add 6 months to the clock. These circumstances are the same whether you file for Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Next, let's explore some strategic considerations when it comes to CSED and the timing of your bankruptcy filing. Usually, Chapter 7 bankruptcy takes about 3 to 6 months to finish, while Chapter 13 bankruptcy can take anywhere from 3 to 5 years. Because Chapter 7 is relatively short, its impact on the collection statute expiration date is typically minimal. Chapter 13 may have a more significant effect, as it pauses the CSED for a longer time. But again, neither type of bankruptcy is going to save the taxpayer from paying back the tax debt. You might be wondering, when and how can tax debt be discharged through bankruptcy? Some tax debts may be discharged in bankruptcy, depending on specific eligibility requirements. If your debt is not able to be discharged, the IRS will resume collecting once your bankruptcy is over. To determine if your debts can be discharged, they must fall into the following categories. Your tax return was due at least 3 years before the bankruptcy filing. You filed your return at least 2 years before the bankruptcy filing. The tax was assessed at least 240 days before the bankruptcy filing. And the debt is not the result of fraud or tax evasion. Lastly, let's explore how bankruptcy lawyers time their filings to align with the collection statute expiration date. There are several ways bankruptcy lawyers will coordinate bankruptcy filing with the statute of limitations on tax debt, including the following: letting CSED expire before filing. If you have tax debts that cannot be discharged and you are close to the CSED, your lawyer might recommend letting the debt expire before filing for bankruptcy. Avoiding the CSED pause by filing too early. Because bankruptcy pauses the CSED during bankruptcy plus 6 months, your lawyer might recommend waiting to file for bankruptcy. This allows time for your tax debts to become dischargeable and prevents the IRS from adding too much time to the CSED. And using Chapter 13 for non-dischargeable tax debt. If your tax debt is not dischargeable and the CSED is years away, you could consider filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You will pay your tax debt through the payment plan and will not be charged interest or penalties. Here are some final thoughts on IRS collection expiration and bankruptcy to help you make an informed decision about your case. In conclusion, understanding how the collection statute expiration date, or CSED, interacts with bankruptcy is crucial when dealing with tax debt. While bankruptcy can provide some relief, it's important to carefully consider the timing of your filing to ensure that it works in your favor. By discussing your situation with an experienced bankruptcy attorney, you can make informed decisions about whether to let the CSED expire or use bankruptcy strategically to address your tax debt. Blake Goodman PC has decades of experience assisting individuals in finding solutions for bankruptcy cases. Our team will work with you to understand your situation, develop a personalized strategy, and guide you through your options. Contact us and take the steps toward financial freedom. To schedule your free case consultation, call us at 808-556-7833 or visit us online at debtfreehawaii.com.
Thank you for listening to the Blake Goodman PC Attorneys Podcast. Going through bankruptcy can be a difficult and complex situation, but it doesn't have to be if you have us on your side. Your path to financial freedom starts here. Get in touch with the experienced bankruptcy lawyers at Blake Goodman PC Attorney today to explore your options.